So now that we have our dog really understanding 3 pulls with using the treats thrown on the floor, and they're getting all the entrances really nice around the clock, you know, now it's time to add more drive and fun for the dog, and so we're going to do that by adding toys. Before I get a dog out for doing this, I want to go over how you should be flinging your toys, because it's important, especially with this method of weaving, that your toy delivery is low and keeps the dog's head down low to the ground. And there's kind of an art to throwing toys, so whether or not you're throwing a toy like any of these, a ball on a bungee, or something like this that has a tail, is we want to throw it low. If you're throwing a lotus ball that has treats in it, or a treat pouch with treats in it for the dogs that are more food motivated, it's going to be the same principle. So when we go to fling toys, I want you to think about flinging from your leg. So if my dog was weaving and she's on that side of me, I'm going to have the toy here. And when she's exiting, when I go to step, I'm going to fling from right here and release the toy. I'm not going to do this with my arm, because that's going to make the toy go high in the air. And so your goal as this dog's handler is to make pretty nice, accurate throws, and to never have them going above the height of the weave pulls. So a nice low trajectory with your throws, and this is what it looks like with some different toys. Okay, nice and low, different toy. I'm flinging down low. See how all those go nice and low? So now keep your dog's head down low and really keep improving the form. And then if you're using a ball, and I'll switch sides. So when I'm over here, the toy is going to be in my left hand, because I don't want it close to the dog. So I'm going to fling here. Okay, so something like that. So that's my short and simple little how to throw a toy in agility, just because we really don't want these toys flying high. We want them flying nice and low. Good girl. Yeah, good girlie. Good girlie. Hey, good girl. Oh boy, good girl, good girl. So once I get her wrapped up a little bit, now we're just going to go to doing the weaves with her and with her toy. I'm not going to hold on to her anymore. Yeah, good girl. Yeah. Woo! Woo! Always make sure you're celebrating with the dog, so that she was really loving this. So I'm going to work around the clock with her. She's learning toys here. Good. So you notice that the dog is looking ahead, and she's not looking for me with the toy in my hand, because I... Oh my goodness! Oh my goodness! Oh my goodness! You're so good! You're so good! So in between each going around the clock, we're going to play with the toy a little bit, and then I'm just going to capture her where I want her, here. Weave! Good! Good! And so I'm flinging that toy out from my side. This toy that she happens to like is a little hard, so I need to make sure I'm holding on to it by the string. Yeah! Good girl! Really good. Weave. Good. So that was a little high throw. You can see it kind of went over the tops of the weaves. So I still want to concentrate for myself of keeping these throws nice and low. There we go. So that was a nice low one. So have fun with this, doing around the clock with your dog with the toy, and as long as they're getting all the entries, just a couple times around the clock will be good. Okay, so now that we've introduced a toy and we're building drive with our dogs and they're having a really fun time with that, getting the entrances, now we're going to add a wing. We are going to send the dog around the wing, and then into the weaves. And I like to do this on a front cross. Yeah. Really good! Really good! Oh my goodness! These are good! Oh, really good! Really good! Really good! Really good! So I'm just going to keep moving the wing around. Yeah. And so I'm keeping that really nice low head because I'm flinging my toy. I have a good control over it, that it's riding pretty low through the air as I send it. Right. And again, you just want to keep moving this all the way around. Okay, so I'm continuing to wrap around the wings, but one thing I want to point out is I am still using my Cool Runner set that I started off indoors, and I'm about to the point where I'm going to go to my competition weave set because my dog's going through here pretty fast and her body's really moving these. So after I do this protocol, I am going to change weaves. I just want to address that. But let's just do a few more of sending the dog around the wing. Woo! Weave! Yeah! Girly! Good! Oh my goodness! They're so good! They're so good! Good girl! Okay. Weave! Now we're going to add our fourth pole because our dog is ready for this, and we're going to go back inside and we're going to use treats again. We were using toys at 3 poles when we were wrapping a cone, but now we're going to go back to treats because we need to make sure they get the 4th entry around the pole. So we're going to get started here.
Yes, good girl.
So in the beginning, you want to help them get into the entrance of the 4th pole.
Yes, good girl.
And now you can go to just throwing 2 treats for your dog, but you want to make sure you're throwing them ahead.
That one kind of bounced just a little awry. That one up front.
There you go. And yeah, just try to get those treats a little ahead.
Yes.
Good. And change positions.
Good girl. Hey, yes, good girl. Yes. Good girl.
So one thing that I would add, Sarah, is instead of dropping the treat right there as you lure her past the 4th pole, is that you toss it just a little further, maybe about a foot out from this last pole where my foot is. Yep.
Okay.
And then she's not looking so much directly at you as she's entering between pole 3 and 4.
Okay. Yeah. Ready? Ready? Yeah.
There you perfect. Perfect. That kept her head down. That kept her head down. So now that we've been helping her, we're going to try to let her figure it out.
Yay! Good girlie! Good girl! Yes! That was so good! Go in! Yes! Good girl!
Really?
Good girl! Good girl! Ready?
So the dog is going to start really getting the pattern. And don't worry about the dog's speed at this point. They're going to get faster. We've gone back to treats, and so for our super toy driven dogs, they're going to go a little slower. Make sure you are helping them into. So let's not help her with that entrance. Let her figure that out because she's really looking at you on this side of the weaves because your hand is so close there, and she's having to weave away from you on this side. So let's let her try to figure it out. She's going to make a couple mistakes. So you've got to be okay. Right? No helping. Don't let her make the mistakes.
Okay. And I'll just treat toss like I normally do.
Yep, when she gets it right. If she makes some mistakes, remember we're going to jackpot and get extremely thrilled when she does get it right, when she does think for herself.
Okay.
Very nice. Yep.
That was
See,
very good.
there
That
you
was
go.
so
Really.
good. Yay.
So we're really jackpotting that.
Yay. That was good. That was good. Ooh, what is it? Hey. Wee. Yay. Hey. Good girl. Yes. Good girl. Yes. That was so good. Yes.
Okay, so keep moving around the clock. So let's have you do one really far back.
Yay.
This is going to be a little harder for you when you go back to like 5 o'clock and 6 o'clock. So try some of those entrances, because this is what's hard for handlers, is that you have to move with the dog so that you're up here by the 4th pole as they are moving ahead. So go back and start there at 5 o'clock. Yep. 4 o'clock, 5 o'clock, and work back there.
Okay.
Yep.
Ready? Ready? Come here. Here you go. Wee. Yay.
Nice.
Girl. Good
Nice.
girl. Yay. That was very good.
And at this point in the game, back there at 4, 5, 6 o'clock, those are a little harder entrances than what we think for our dogs.
Yay. Good girl. That was very good. Yes, it was.
And so we just want to continue working this around the clock. And once we have it pretty well confirmed that she understands the pattern,
Good girl.
that we will switch to toys very shortly. Okay, so once you're doing the 4 weaves and you're using a toy and your dog is getting the entrances and they're completing all 4 weaves, then you're ready to start jump proofing with the 4 weaves. And we're going to do that by a couple different ways of sending the dog with using the jump. First thing we're going to do is just start the dog in front of the jump the first time I come out and do it, and then I'm going to send them around to do a wrap, and then send them from right behind the jump. And I'm going to work that all the way around the clock. One thing you want to remember in this, you want to let the dog find the entrance, but you do want to set that entrance up for success. In other words, you don't want to do something that causes them to completely miss it because your handling is really super off. So just try to set them up for success and let them find the entrance. Whee! And are you paused? So each time I'm going to be moving this around the clock and making sure that I have connection with my dog. I'm actually looking at him when he's starting, just like I would on course. And again, the fling with the toy is low because it's incumbent upon you about shaping the dog's form based upon where you throw the toy and how low it is. And also make sure your dog is not looking at you when he goes to exit, that he's looking for the toy. So you are going to have times when the dog is going to make mistakes getting into the entry. So that last time I needed to help him just a teeny bit with the setup for entering the weaves. So just an example so you can see of how you need to help a little bit with your setup, with your handling, so the dog understands where it's going. Remember, you're working with a dog that needs more training with this, and we need to make sure they're getting into the entrances. Whee! so you're just going to keep working around the clock as your dog is successful. You want, every time you come out to start this, don't start immediately wrapping them around the jump or sending them from the other side. Just set them up in front of the jump and have them do one run to get through, so to make sure that they are remembering about their entrances and keeping their form all the way through. The main thing you want to do with this is the time when your dog should become really thrilled about weaving, that we really like it and that we are thrilled to do it. So the more you make it exciting for your dog, and also remember in between to do a lot of playing. Like I'm going to do a lot of playing right now with this guy, so it's super fun. Yeah. Good boy. Hey. So we really want to build their association to the weaves to be super positive and super fun. And once you complete this all around the clock, usually maybe one time doing this all around the clock, and you're not having hardly any mistakes at all with entries or the exits, drop, then you're ready to move on.